and welcome to day 2 of the Core Strength Challenge. So today we'll be working on the transverse abs. And the transverse abs is the big muscle that wraps around the whole body, so the whole midsection, and it really helps with stabilizing and supporting the spine. So it's a really, really important muscle to strengthen. The biggest challenge with working the transverse muscles, or the transverse abs, is engagement of the correct muscle. So it really helps to get an awareness or a sense of where that muscle is and what it feels like to engage it. So we'll start with a little exercise just to bring some awareness to this area, and hopefully you might feel a slight movement or engagement of that muscle. Now, if you don't feel anything, don't worry. It's a very slight movement, and if you've never done this before, then chances are you may not feel anything at all. But the more you work this muscle, the more that engagement will happen, and the more likely you would start to feel some movement in that area. So I'll make our way down to a lying position. And when you're there, we'll start with just the soles of the feet on the floor. And I want you to bring your hands just to the hip bones, so just where the hips stick out of the body. And then move your fingers in 2 centimetres towards the midline of the body, and then just 2 centimetres down. So we are looking for the engagement under the pads of the fingers. And like I said, you might not feel anything, and don't let that upset you. This is just what we're working towards, and it is a very slight movement for most people. So you can either work with the soles of the feet on the floor, or you can bring the legs out long, whatever feels better for the lower back. And then whichever option you take, we'll be working with leg raises, and we'll be alternating the legs. So we'll start with the left leg. So start to pull the navel in towards the spine. You might feel the pelvis tilt and the lower back start to push into the floor. It's okay to still have a little bit of an arch here, but that's the general direction we're working in. And on the inhale, as you pull the navel in towards the spine, lift your left leg up, and exhale back down. We'll take it to the other side, so inhale, right leg up, exhale back down. Now I just want you to work with your own breath, in your own time, just alternating between legs. As you lift the leg, I want you to pull the navel in slightly and start to push the lower back down, feel that pelvis tilt. Now start to notice whether you can feel anything under the pads of the fingers. Should just feel like a very slight engagement in that area. And if you do feel anything there, that's the transverse abs engaging. And then once you've finished the right leg, just placing the legs back down, you can bring the soles of the feet back to the floor, and then just roll them from side to side. You're just releasing any tension that might be in the lower back. So now we've done a little exercise to start the engagement of, or bring awareness to the engagement of the transverse muscles or abs. We will do a couple more, or we'll do 2 more exercises that will really work to strengthen those muscles. So if you're not there already, come back to lying on the floor. We'll take a pose that I call dead bug pose. So we'll start with our legs up, arms up, nice and straight, facing the ceiling. You can bend the knees if you like, but if you do that, just make sure your knees are stacked over your hips so you still engage in those same muscles. So we'll be starting with the left leg and the right arm, and we'll be moving on the exhale. So on the next exhale, when you're ready, just drop in the left leg, right arm, and inhale, come back up, and then swapping over to the opposite side. And then back to left leg, right arm. Inhale to come back up, opposite side. So that's 5, so halfway there. 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, so because I messed up the count. And then just releasing the legs down. Again, you can just rock them side to side, maybe releasing any tension that you might feel in the hips. And we'll do that step one more time. So just bringing the legs back up, arms back up. Starting again with the left leg and the right arm. So on the next exhale, bringing them to hover. Inhale, back up. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale, back up. Remember to try and pull the navel in as you bring the leg and the arm down. You might start to feel some heat in the abs, in the core. Inhale, back up. One more time, each side. Great, and then releasing the legs back down. Again, just rocking the legs out side to side. And when you're ready, slowly rolling your way back up. I've got one more exercise for you, and that's a forearm plank. So just making your way over onto the front now. And a really good way to line up your arms is just to bring your hands to opposite arms, just holding on to the bicep there, and then bring the arms down to the floor and bring the hands out in front, palms facing down. When you come into this, I want you to really push into the hands and the forearm, keeping lots of space in the fingers, and that can really help with this pose. However, if you do have quite tight upper back, then you might notice your hands start to come together. And if that happens, you can try and push them out if you like, or you can just bring your hands and clasp them in front of you so you're in a bit more of a diamond shape. So take whichever option's best for you. Maybe try out both. And then just send the feet out behind. Again, you don't want your hips coming up too high and you don't want them sagging down, so just pull the navel in. We're aiming for a nice straight line. You drop the knees down at any point. And we'll just hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Maybe take a child's pose, bringing the hips back down to the feet, arms out in front. Inhale to come back up, and we'll take that one more time. So just setting up the arms the same way as before. Feet come out behind, balls of the feet pushing through the heels. Pull the navel in. Start to feel some heat generate in the core. You might start to feel a little bit shaking here, and that's perfectly fine. We'll hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. So again, taking a quick child's pose, releasing the head down. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, just make your way into a seated position. So that's the end of day 2. I hope to see you back for tomorrow, day 3, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Thank you for practicing with me.